So I want to talk some more about the collapsed masculine. I'm pretty sure I triggered some people by talking about this story. In some other video, I was talking about this woman who was running late for a tour. Her boyfriend stepped in and helped her by giving her more time to get ready. And this impacted the tour, the rest of the couples on the tour and the tour company, et cetera. You know what's really interesting about this? The lesson of that story in that video was that he was a good masculine to her feminine. That was the lesson of that story. How do I feel about this woman? And what could the tour company have done? So I think a lot of people were triggered when they felt like, oh my God, she's evil and she's annoying. You know, I don't want her to be my girlfriend. I want someone who can put their shit together, you know? Okay, that tells me about you, right? So first and foremost, this person is a very gifted visual artist. And, you know, that kind of person who is highly chaotic and highly creative, it just goes together. And sometimes certain life tasks can be hard. And that's just what happens with people who are very creative and actually very gifted. Sometimes other things that require more masculine energy can be hard. And part of their gift is also part of their difficulty with life. So you either love the whole person or you don't, but you're not allowed to say, oh, I love your creativity, but I hate that you're late all the time, because they're related, you know, like, hello, sorry. Anyway, how do I feel about this person? This person isn't my friend anymore because I couldn't stand her being late all the time. And it wasn't just that, it was like her lack of integrity overall. Like, she would lie about her feelings, and I can't stand for that. So I prefer interacting with someone who maybe is not as creative and is not as chaotic, but has their shit together, or somehow manages to do both, you know, somehow manages to do both. I'm actually very similar to her in many ways, but I managed to do both, I believe. So I'm different, but like, yeah, the lack of integrity would be an issue for me personally. The other thing is, the tour company didn't need to let this couple impact them. It's very easy to have a policy that says if you're more than 5 minutes late, you lose all of your money and we're not going to take you on the tour. There's no reason to not have that policy. And they could just lose all their money and not be on the tour and not impact any of the other couples and no problem, you know? Like, when you make someone else into your violator, I see what you're doing. You're giving up your power. And I think a lot of the people who might have been triggered by that story I told might have felt as if she was a huge violator and he was a huge violator and, you know, upheld her violator thing. And therefore they were both evil people and wouldn't have wanted to be on the tour with them. I wouldn't have wanted to be on the tour with them either. But that has nothing to do with whether or not he was a good masculine to her feminine, because he was, and that was the story. So I'm going to tell a different story about a different kind of masculine that actually collapses and harms the feminine. So a lot of times I actually see the masculine and feminine when it comes to mothers and children. So when you're a mother, a biological mother, and you're a woman, you are still in your masculine with your child, and your child can be a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter. Those children are in their feminines. They need help. They are chaotic. They need help waking up on time, going to bed on time, bathing themselves, eating, you know, like the masculine, like, takes care of the feminine, holds the feminine, and gives the feminine order. So I remember talking to a woman who had a very special child. It was a girl who was very, very bright. And especially because she had a brother who got a lot of attention, she was kind of neglected, you know? And she had one of those personalities, you know, this where, you know, this kind of like really, really excited kind of girl who's just like over the top excited. And I remember hanging out with another woman, totally other thing. Her daughter was just like this. And she was like, mommy, look at this thing. And she was just, you know, she was like level 10 energy and needed a lot of affirmation and a lot of, your dress looks amazing. You are amazing. You're the best ever. And it wouldn't have been okay if you answered her like that. You needed to answer her like, so like, I'm here with this woman, we're in Italy. So I'm here with this woman in Italy with her half Italian daughter, and her half Italian daughter's like, and then her mom is like, and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot stand you guys. What the fuck, And the mother, who's very intuitive, was like, I have to give her that. Like, I know that she needs that. And I'm like, so you just give it to her? And she's like, yeah. So that's not the mom's natural energy, but she brings it for her daughter, That woman can be very chaotic in many other ways, but in this way, she was a perfect mother. She just brought it. She did what she had to do to see her daughter. And actually, this drawing was for something else, but it's fine. Here, taking is seeing the allower. So when the daughter is like, no, like super, like level 10, look at me, look at me, look at me. If you're not like level 10, I see you, I see you, I see you, you're actually saying you're annoying and you're outside of consent. Like how you're behaving is fucking annoying and I'm outside of consent. So I kind of like hate you right now, and then the daughter's going to feel like she's not okay. So if you make someone feel like they're not okay, you're pushing them outside of consent and you're actually making them your victim, believe it or not. Because in this case, the daughter has nowhere to go except for her mother. Her mother tells her if she's okay or not. The daughter's not enough of a person yet to be like, well, I'm okay. So whether or not other people think I'm okay, I know I'm okay. She doesn't have that yet. So her mother is really, really important here in saying you are okay. Whatever you're thinking or feeling is okay. Whatever you are is okay, So it's really important for the parent, the mother especially, to have integrity with a child, no matter how the child is. Otherwise, you're crossing the child's boundaries and you're telling them they're not okay and you're basically rejecting them. So back to the other mother with a special needs son who took all of her attention. So her super smart daughter was neglected all the time. Like, well, she's fine by herself. I'm going to pay attention to my special needs son because I'm a good mother, that kind of thing, Can you imagine? So this mother also had a daughter, like, look, and she was just like, over it. And I'm like, why don't you respond to her in the way that she needs you to? And she's like, because it's annoying. And I'm like, so you're telling her she's not okay. And she's like, she needs to learn sooner or later that is annoying. Like the world is going to teach her that she is bad. So I'm going to teach her first, which is what she thought. I'm like, oh my God, do you like not understand how trauma works? Clearly not, because you are traumatizing her by, as her mother, telling her she's not okay. So when this really special child is told that she's not okay, she's going to feel fear. She's not going to feel safe. And she's going to have really, really repressed anger. And she's going to start hanging out in this part of, this is a very reduced wheel of consent, in which case, she's going to start putting other people's ideas first. She's being trained into thinking that. So she feels okay, right? Look at me, she feels okay. She feels actually really high in vibration. And her mom's like, ugh, can't stand you. This daughter's learning that the ugh vibration supersedes her vibration. So she's learning to lower her vibration in order to please her mother. So imagine how this little girl is going to grow up in school with boys. Imagine how she's going to be at the workplace. Is it going to be easy for her to speak up if she has an idea? What I see of this little girl, she could be the president of the United States if she really wanted to. And she's being killed. Her soul is being killed by her mother. So this is a really insidious kind of trauma I actually see all the time, where parents just don't see their children. And they kind of tell their children that they are annoying. Or they tell their children that whatever you're doing right now, whatever you need, I can't provide for you. And that makes me feel shame. So I'm going to put the shame on you for needing that to begin with. So people just start to feel shame for being who they are. So that's why, to me, it's such a strong and important lesson to understand what the masculine is doing when he's holding the feminine, and why it's such a remarkable story when the boyfriend holds the girlfriend and she's running late and he goes, "That's fine, baby." You know, like that's a big deal, because we usually, if we're unhealed and we're unaware of what I'm talking about, might side with the tour company and be like, "How dare these people be an hour late?" When what he was doing was saying, "Whatever you are, I see you and I uphold your needs." And she needed time, you know? "I see you." They were both in consent with each other. And that was way more important than them being in consent with the tour company. Them being in consent with each other was more important than them being in consent with the tour company. And in the case of the woman who wouldn't see her daughter, she felt like her daughter was just too much and pushed her outside of consent, and then she punished her daughter for it. She didn't raise her energy like that Italian mother going like, "Hey, well," you know, she didn't do that, even though she could do that. She just chose not to do that out of laziness. And she deemed her daughter's experience to be not that important. So as a result, her daughter gets traumatized and starts to feel comfortable being smaller than she actually is, starts to feel comfortable not using her voice. And when she's older and she's in trauma recovery, she needs to take thousands of sessions to like open her fucking throat chakra. Okay. You know, like, this is the beginning of it all, is a collapsed masculine. And doesn't just always have to do with boyfriends and girlfriends. It often starts with the mother and the child. So that's the lesson for today. Thank you for listening. See you next time. And yes, I give one-on-one sessions. Bye.